Hey guys, what's up? I am getting started on a new project today. I was working on using, let me start with this. A lot of you guys may not know, but Chris actually is the owner of a fencing and landscaping company. So what happened was he got like some spare pieces that he'd already nailed in and replaced on another project. So he was gonna burn them or discard them, and I just decided, well, I have a couple of things, small things around the house that I could probably use them for, so that's what we're doing today. It's quarantine week, y'all, and there's a lot going on. I will show you what other projects I was working on earlier this week. Let me apologize for not recording those, but I'm not good at this. I really am. I usually think about sharing this stuff with you afterward, not realizing that it could actually be beneficial for someone else. So here's another idea that you could probably work on in your garden while you're quarantined for the next couple of weeks or so. I started by getting some of those old pickets, taking out the nails that he'd driven in there, and cutting them to size and stuff with the circular saw, although it did tap out on me halfway through the day. Say hi, Chris. Okay, guys. So this is how we do quarantine Friday. We were home. We were working on some projects this week. Chris is building an extension to the shed. He's welding some stuff back there so that we can. The chickens are currently upstairs the shed. So normally we actually bring them outside and bring them out into this enclosure right here. But he's building an extension so that we can have stair step it so that they can come down into the yard, and we're gonna fence that in and make it secure for them, so they're not bothered in there. So that's what's going on in there. So over the course of quarantine week, I have been working on some yard projects. I put in I always wanted grapes, so I planted the grapevines a good while back, but I never put a harbor in for them. I just planted them here. So what I did was I built a harbor from some spare pieces that we had, and some branches that were lying around the yard that Chris had cut down there in the backyard somewhere. So I nailed those into those open spaces to create a more aesthetic appeal, I guess, and painted that the same color as the garden boxes. So that's what that looks like. And then I didn't want weeds coming up because the stream is right there, the river is right there. I didn't want weeds and vines coming up. You see these little vines right here? These vines are what my nightmares are made of. When I have nightmares, this is what I'm dreaming about. I hate these things. They are so strong and so prolific and so hard to get rid of. I don't even know what they're called, but I can't stand them. So they come up whenever there is a lot of moisture and water. So you see all of them covering the trees and stuff over there. Some of it choked on the poor tree them. Yeah, them vine there. Can't stand them. So I didn't want them coming up behind the grape here and choking down the yard, which has happened. The first year we moved here, we didn't actually have access to this whole section of the yard because the vines were just out of control. So I decided to put down some ground cover, stone it around. I do need to throw some granite or something in there and secure it and make it look cute, but that's what I was working on. Also, we had some spare pieces left over, so decided to put in a fence. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so I put in a fence. I jump over so what it looked like from the front. So yeah, I put in this fence this week, and then I need to paint it and stain it. This is supposed to be the gate for over here in case we need to back into the yard, because the way our yard is set up, we have a lot of projects we like to do going around to the backyard this way, and it's hard to do that when there's no access. We've just been pulling in from the road, but since the fence is now here, I need to create an opening, so that's what we're doing. It's a long fence, so it's best not to put a fence this big in a wood frame. So the reason it's not up yet is because I'm waiting for Chris to put to build a steel frame that the gate can go in, and it will swing nicely out of here so that it doesn't warp over time. Because when that much weight is sitting on a wood frame, it tends to warp, is what he was explaining. So I'm just waiting for him to build that frame so I can put it in. Yeah, we moved the June plum over here. It used to be on the other side of the yard, but we moved it because we find that it gets more morning sun over here than over there, where the pond is. So that's what I was working on. So since we did that project and I had this doing, he was working on welding back there. I said, well, since we have extra pieces today, I had said I wasn't going to do any work. I was just going to binge watch some TV shows and let my body recuperate, because trust me, it needs it. But I had some extra pieces, so this is what I did. Alright dudes, so yeah, this is what we did. Well, this is what I did today with the spare pieces that were left over. You know, made a garden bench. I kind of wanted something that I can store my stuff in, because look over here. So you see this right here is where I have all my extra pots and leftover stuff and shovel and terracotta pots, and it just not look good. It doesn't look good. I didn't want that, so decided to build a little bench slash storage box that we can use. And then realized halfway through the project that I didn't have any hinges, so the seat opens up and lets you into a nice little storage space there. Only thing is, I need to add the hinges and make it more secure, put a latch on it, and so on and so forth. You see them dog, man? Yeah, they don't want to bark until I start making a video, you know? It's like them know. Don't worry about it. So that's what that looks like. So a few spare pieces, some screws, some nails, a hammer, a drill, a saw. Listen, I started the day, I don't know if you guys were looking or paying attention to the video, but I started the day with the circular saw, and then for one reason or another, part of the cord was cut from before, and it just decided to spark today and say it not to talk to me no more. So it decided it wanted to malice me, stop work. I respect our forefathers who had to use hand saws on the regular. I had to try it again today. I only use it like periodically just to cut a couple of pieces, but I do not enjoy the experience. And then Chris come talk about me if I stop being lazy and cut it all the way through instead of try to snap it and things. So yeah, just start create arguments in my marriage and all kind of stuff. We can't afford that, so no hand saw business around here, you know. So I'm glad that he was able to get the miter saw together for me to finish up. You know, I started the day with that. So yeah, this is what we're working on today. That's basically done, and the framing for the extension to the chicken run is basically done as well. The greenhouse is on the other side. That's what that plastic is about. If you look over here, you see that that's the back of the greenhouse that I built last year. Yeah. So yeah, we've been busy. What have you been doing quarantine week? Tell us about it.